Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It's Monday, and then Mondays here in our houses, we talk video games. I don't know about you, Chugs, but I've been playing a whole lot of stuff. And actually, I do know you have been playing a whole lot of stuff because you're back to Twitch streaming as well. And yes, you've been putting a lot of time into your games. I think I will, if you don't mind, I will take the floor at first because I am playing a lot of the same stuff that I talked about last week, and I will just add a little bit more to it. But I'm playing Death Stranding 2. I'm still playing Death Stranding 2, but I did complete the game. I saw credits. I did the final fight, but there is post-final fight content. Essentially, everything that I was doing before that I was super into, like building roads and all that, you can continue forward. We keep leveling up that stuff. You can keep making deliveries. And somehow, it is still pretty satisfying, so I've put in a little bit of time on that. But, I don't know if... Okay, I talked to you a little bit before the stream about what the final fight of this game is. And while I don't want to spoil it, I also think there's no way I can't spoil this because it is by far the wackiest thing this video game has ever done. So here it is. Here comes the big X.
Yep. The big X.
It's the big one.
X.
This is the final cutscene of this video game. So finally, you unite the entirety of Australia. You go back to Mexico. You unite the entirety of Mexico. You find out things about yourself. You find out things about your friends, about the baby Lou. And none of that stuff I will disclose because I think that's the stuff that is actually more of the story stuff. What I want to say is there's actually a final fight in this game. And the final fight in this game is the wackiest thing I've ever seen in a video game because it is Norman Reedus, a super well rendered, beautifully digitally artistic rendering of Norman Reedus versus a shirtless Troy Baker. So imagine Troy Baker with no shirt and eyeliner, and it's Norman Reedus versus Troy Baker. They're both shirtless, and they both have guitars, and they literally fight with guitars. And I'm not just talking like swing guitars at each other, which they do. They shred the guitar back and forth. You play... Part of this fight is quite literally you as Norman Reedus seeing your enemy play a solo, and Norman Reedus being like, you're not gonna upstage me, and he starts playing a solo. And they go back and forth, and it is much longer than you would think. It's crazy. It's bonkers. At one point, Troy Baker goes from a single axe guitar to a double axe guitar to like essentially, I guess, double the power of his guitar strength. It's the weirdest thing Kojima might have done in a video game, but it's also I was fist pumping as it was happening. I was like, I need to tell someone about this because it is so wacky and so unwarranted of an ending, but also I'm so damn glad it happened in the video game.
Only video games, man. Only video games.
Only video games should do this. It starts off at first you're shooting at each other like you are for most of the other game. Then suddenly it goes to this like this cut scene where it has emotional impact. Then they start shredding guitars at each other, but they rip their shirts off when they do this. They start shredding guitars at each other. Then the game decides that you're in a 2D fighter. It puts you side to side like you're in a Mortal Kombat fight, Mortal Kombat 2 style. And you start fighting with the guitars at each other in a 2D style. And then it pops you out of that. He double basses it. And you eventually start swinging the guitars like they're swords at each other. And it eventually culminates into whatever the actual ending of this game is. But there was no way I couldn't talk about the final fight of this game because it embodies what I actually do like about Death Stranding 2. And that's it's a stupid game. It is so dumb. But I've accepted that, you know what? Kojima may not make my favorite games, but he makes a great stupid game. And the he's figured out once the mechanics are sorted out, once you realize how you walk across the terrain, how you drive things around, how you fight, the cutscenes become very what was the worst part of the first game when the cutscenes would come out? Now I would look forward to them because every time something really, really weird and stupid would happen. And I'm so glad I actually played through the entirety of the game. I think it took me about 50 hours to do so. And it's still giving me a bit of the urge to keep playing. I don't ever think I will 100% it. That seems like an impossible feat. But I do think on occasion I might pop in there, put my musical playlist on, and just, roam around my car and deliver some medals to across the world.
Well, man, that's such a great sign, though. After finishing the story and putting 50 hours in, you're still not ready to be done with the game.
Yeah.
So that's a very, very good sign as well. And hearing about that ending, man, like, I have to play this. I have to. I love Kojima. I've heard great things, and hearing about how wacky and wild it is, my God, just let's go.
It's I mean, it's a journey to get there, but thankfully there's a lot of stops on the way that have equally weird stuff. I talked about some last week. There's a whole musical number. There's all kinds of weird. There's a doll guy. Anyways. All I'm saying is, if you think you're interested in Death Stranding from what I have said, go give it a shot. It's a pretty damn good time. Other than that, I got two other games I've been playing. Way more of Donkey Kong Bonanza. I believe both you and I have put in a lot of time into that game this week.
Yes.
You were at level, I believe, in the late 200s. I was in the 500s. Well, now I'm in the 900s. You're in the 500s.
Yes, correct.
I don't know about you, but every level I've jumped into, it gives me a trickle more of like different mechanics, and it's incredible. It's an incredible game. The music is very, very good. As I keep progressing further and further down into the earth, because you're digging deeper into the earth to get to the core of the earth to do a thing, whatever that is. But I find myself every time I go to a new place, I'm hoping there's more because I don't want it to end. And I thought it was going to end at 800. I'm now at 900, and I'm realizing there's a whole skill tree I haven't unlocked. So there might be a lot more content to this as well. And then the final game that I played was a Steam game. I put in a few hours of it called He Is Coming. It's a sprite art-based game that is one of those autobattler games where you don't actually physically choose how you fight, but what you do choose is your routes. You choose what weaponry you might decide on. The way it's sorted out is like you look at an overworld. It has a bunch of paths, and as you're traversing the paths, there's a time period that syncs through. So there's like a day and night cycle, and after you've done 4 day and nights, a boss appears and attacks you. So you are pretty much trying to maximize your path to get new items, upgrade your weapons, upgrade the items. Eventually, you find shops that you can get better items, or you find there's like characters that have purposes. Like if you have the same item twice, you can fold it into a stronger version of that item. And so essentially, you're trying to maximize your run by walking around, fighting some enemies on your path to get money, to buy bigger weapons so that you can ultimately be prepared for the big dog fight against the boss at the end. And you do a cycle of 4 of those bosses, and if you complete it, you've now completed a full run. That is just the start of it, because there's multiplayer to it. There's also multiple maps to it, what I've not unlocked yet because I've yet to complete the first one. But if you're into like Vampire Survivors, but not necessarily the 360 shooter aspect of it, but just the concept of something easy to go into for less than 15 minutes and getting a run, this is a perfect little game for that. I believe it's only $12 on Steam.
Oh, wow.
And it's just... I popped into it on my laptop from a lounge this morning because I was in the lounge for 25 minutes, and I was capable of getting 3 runs in. So that's the type of game it is. It's something that you can really just pop in, pop out, probably disappear, come back to it later. It's not like it's going to be very hard to retain. There's not a bunch of story beats, and it's not a difficult concept to learn. It's just about maximizing your run, getting the best run possible so that you can defeat bosses. And I know me, it's the exact type of game that I'm probably going to end up putting 300 hours into if there's enough content. It's in early access right now, so it's not even completed quite yet, but it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews online. And I've been very, very happy with what I've played. I will definitely be playing more of it in the coming weeks. Now, Chugs, nice. I know you've been playing all kinds of stuff. What have you been playing?
Yes. So this week I was very fortunate to actually get quite a bit of gaming in, which is awesome. Of course, I say this every week and I'm probably going to continue to say it, but Pokemon trading card game Pocket is how I start my day every single day. I can't remember if we have mentioned this or not, but there is a brand new pack. Two brand new packs, actually. Yeah.
I did not know.
It's a big deck too. It's like over 150 new cards, even more than, maybe even close to 200, honestly. But I have a whole new set to collect, which is always so fun. It's so amazing. This game has done such a great job of like adding updates right when I feel like I'm ready for something new, like right around there. So it's definitely never gotten boring. It's always gotten fun to collect new stuff. Absolutely love the new packs, which is great. And of course, the battles, all new battles to fight as well, which is cool. And as you continue to add these different like trainer cards or supporter cards, it really creates all these interesting circumstances or situations you could be in, like for defending yourself against certain Pokemon or for attacking. I'm just loving how many possibilities there are as far as when you do these battles. So again, Pokemon trading card game Pocket, so many cards to collect. If you haven't played it yet, definitely recommend it, especially if you like Pokemon. Also, I can't wait any longer. I got to say this. I got to shout it from the mountaintops, I beat Road Rash, dude.
Whoa!
My 30-year journey.
It happened.
Of finally beating Road Rash. I was so pumped, which next up for my retro playthroughs, I'm going to jump into Streets of Rage 2, which I have beaten before.
Yes.
But I just love that game. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite beat 'em up of all time. So I'm excited to do that. But as far as Road Rash goes, I managed to get third place on most of the races with the final stretch, which is 5 levels against level 5 enemies. In one of the races, I did get first. I was very proud of myself, but I got first in one race and then third in the 4 other races, but holy moly, it's so hard. And Uno, when I say I felt the same sort of stress as I do like when I play a Souls game, I really, really do. It might have even been more because when you're racing these final stages, a race takes anywhere from 7 to 8 minutes normally. So you could be cooking 6 minutes in, you're playing perfectly, and then you turn the corner and a car hits you, or you slide off your bike and there's a cop to arrest you where you're busted. So it's so stressful, and that happened to me so many times. So when I did finally win, my heart was pounding out of my chest. My hands were sweaty. I was so excited. So I'm proud to say that I finally did beat Road Rash, one of the most challenging games as far as like actually finishing it that I've experienced. And also, you got a special little cutscene. So when you're done playing level 1 and playing those 5 stages, and then once you clear that first through third, you'll have 2 people on motorcycles come up and they like high five, and then it goes to the next one, and maybe the next time they hug after level 2. But when you get to level 5, you ride up on this motorcycle, you hug. It's a guy and a girl. The girl gives the guy a kiss on the cheek and then takes the guy and throws him on her bike and waves and then drives away. So that's the little like you beat the game cutscene, and I loved it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Road Rash is so good. I really do hope that we get like a remake or a remaster of those. The Road Rash concept, as simple as it is, God, that'd be so fun now.
Yes.
It really, really would. Being able to punch guys off bikes and catching the weapons and trying to avoid the cops. Road Rash is so good. So good. In addition to that, I was able to stream quite a bit this week. I was very happy that I was able to. And of course, I put some more time into Lies of P Overture, which again, just an incredible Souls-like game, my favorite non-From Software Soulsborne game. And in regards to this DLC, I know I continue to say it, so I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but the story that's continuing to unfold is so fascinating and so interesting. The base game Lies of P story was great. This is filling in a bunch of the blanks. You're meeting a bunch of new characters. And I will say is when I first played the DLC, I was getting my butt kicked. Then I started to get better. Then I was improving, getting used to the gameplay. I was like, ooh, I'm in a groove now. The past 2 bosses that I fought, they humbled me. I died more to these past 2 bosses than any boss in the entire game. The first one I want to talk about is he's this giant boss that's was experimented on by the alchemist. Just maybe the biggest enemy in the entire game. I can't quite remember his name, but just huge. He takes up like an entire giant room, which is so cool. So that's so different. I know you do fight bigger enemies in Lies of P, but this enemy is so large that it kind of throws you off. You're like, man, how am I going to go about this? So very fun fight. This enemy had what looked to be similar to Simon Manus of being able to, who's a very late game boss in Lies of P, able to like summon magic from the ergo and use all these different spells. There's a bunch of stuff that you have to pay attention to. He has a ton of health, but I was able to defeat him. And then I went to this shipyard area, which is super cool. And there's a character that you meet, Lumakio, very early in this DLC, who is voiced by one of the voice actors in Baldur's Gate 3, which is really cool. I recognized it right away. But from the very moment you meet this guy, who is the leader of the Bastards, by the way, that's the name of the group. But when you meet this guy, you're immediately like, okay, this has to be a bad guy. Even though he's presented, you meet him in Hotel Krat, and you're like, oh, cool, here's an NPC to talk to. The second you speak to him, you're like, this guy's up to something. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case, but my intuition was correct, because that's who you fight in this shipyard area. So a human enemy who is very fast, and to me, the most challenging boss that I've fought so far in the Lies of P Overture DLC for sure. He is so quick. He can get from one point of the map to the next one in a second. And then halfway through the fight, he ends up drinking some elixir that the alchemist gave him. And then he turns into a carcass. The petrification disease takes over him, and he's so aggressive. The combos that this guy has, I'm talking like 8, 9, 10 strikes in a row, and they're all timed differently. And the parrying in Lies of P, to me, is definitely very challenging, like even more so than Sekiro. The timing just has to be perfect. But I did manage to do it, and Uno, I have to tell you this story as well. And I think I found the secret sauce for these bosses.
Oh, okay.
In Lies of P Overture. So I could not believe this happened. I was getting destroyed by the leader of the Bastards. I'm like, there's probably no way I'm going to beat him today. I'll do a few more attempts, see if I can get the timing down with some of the parries. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to Hotel Krat, because there is an adorable cat named Spring who is in that hotel. And you have the option to go sit on the couch and pet Spring, hang out with Spring. Spring is just being adorable. So I said, when I went back to Hotel Krat, I said, I have to pet Spring. It's my good luck charm. Like, it's impossible to lose. Next try, I'm going to beat him. And Uno, at this point, I had gotten him down to half health. That was the best I had done. So I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do it. I did it. I beat it that try. I couldn't believe it. So Spring is a good luck charm. Anytime I get stuck, I'll do some attempts a few times. And then if I feel like I'm in real trouble, just got to go back to Hotel Krat and pet Spring.
The power of positivity.
Yes. The power of positivity and love, let me tell you.
Damn right.
But yeah, just again, incredible DLC, 10 out of 10. I love Lies of P, but I like the DLC even more than the base game.
I would like to also interject that if you like Lies of P and you have, or you're interested in Lies of P, the base game is actually being added to PS Plus tomorrow. So when this episode comes out, if you're a monthly subscriber on PS Plus, the monthly game, the big one that they drop is Lies of P, which that game's not even old. That's 2 years old.
No.
And honestly, as the DLC just dropped, a perfect time to play it if you haven't. I didn't get to complete it, and I'm pretty certain it's going to be in my Rolodex of games for the next month. So if you want to play this game and you're interested, the base game will be on PS Plus starting tomorrow.
Yes, which is amazing news. I had read that as well, and I'm like, man, yeah, now there's no excuse. If it's a game you're interested in trying and you do have PS Plus, definitely give it a go. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all.
Not at all.
And then I know earlier we were talking a little bit about Donkey Kong Bonanza. So like you mentioned, Uno, last time we talked, I was at sub-level 200, and I got up to sub-level 501, I believe.
Yep.
And again, I'm going to use the term broken record again, but just what an amazing 3D platformer. And there's a couple of things I got really excited about. First of all, I'm noticing I wouldn't I wouldn't by any means say that Donkey Kong Bonanza is a super difficult game or anything like that, but I do really appreciate how they've slowly been increasing the difficulty.
Yes.
Like, it's not this sudden spike of difficulty. It's like some of the extra bananas, some of the challenges that you do to get bananas, they are absolutely getting harder, but in such an organic and natural way, which I appreciate. As you're learning more about how to control Donkey Kong and use certain moves and stuff, it's really, really cool. Right now, currently in like a snow area, and the snow is just beautiful. I love a good snow level in a video
Me too.
game. I absolutely do. Lies Be Overture, that DLC has snow. Right now with Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm rolling around in snow. It's great. It's great. And again, too, being able to get these different ties that have certain bonuses, or being able to get these different outfits that have certain bonuses, and also being able to increase the effectiveness of these items, I think is really, really cool. I love those elements. I love, too, when you travel around and you find these rest areas where you can pay with gold to be able to rest there. If you get more and more, you get all these more extra hearts. Like, I was at a point at sub-level 300 where I was getting 5 extra hearts every time I rested. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And of course, being able to listen to all the music and stuff like that is really cool.
Yeah, that jukebox feature that's attached to it, because as you're playing this too and you're fighting enemies, you'll constantly be unlocking different soundtracks. They'll drop random records for you to add to your music box, and I love just going for a rest and switching to a different song. So by the time I come back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's that Donkey Kong song. This song rules. It's incredible. There's I think 130 songs on there.
Man, yeah, and like you said earlier, the music is just so good. But one thing that I discovered, because I am fairly early within this game, is I love the Bonanza mode. Like, one of the first things as far as stats that I wanted to do was get outfits that increase your time in Bonanza mode. I would level up certain aspects to make Bonanza mode like 70% longer, because you were just so powerful and it feels so cool to run through all these enemies. But I'm early enough where I didn't realize this. I saw that there was a skill tree or something that I saw where it said you could do Bonanza mode, but as a zebra.
Yes.
So immediately I went, holy crap, of course, we're going to be able to turn into animals or use animals at some point, because I haven't even done that yet. And I met our rhino friend as well, which is really cool. So now imagining all these different situations where I can transform into these different animals to either access an area or fight a certain boss has me so stoked. I feel like I have just scratched the surface on this game, and I already think it's a 10 out of 10 game. So yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza is great. I'm going to be playing that for a very, very long time. So fun, dude.
You're at the point, I would think, in the game where it gives you all the tools to just do the base content stuff, and it starts getting challenging. And then almost every level after this, they throw you a new big power or a new transformation. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of cool stuff in the next few levels, I think.
Oh God, I'm so excited. So excited. It's amazing. It really is. And we were both so hyped for that game.
Oh yeah.
And
my expectations were so high.
So high. Yeah. So high. Unreal. And then last but not least, so again, my younger brother, me and him love video games. We love talking video games and playing video games together. And I did have the chance to hang out with him for a little bit. And both of us absolutely adore Crash Bandicoot. So both of us decided, hey, let's play some Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. And both of us went through, played, and beat Crash Bandicoot 2 and then Crash Bandicoot 3, which is awesome, because my first experience with any sort of 3D platformer was the original Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 1. And again, I think they did an unbelievable job with the Insane Trilogy, where they remade Crash 1, 2, and 3. Super fun to play. Those games, and they're not too long either. We played and beat both games, or Crash 2 in like a sitting or two, and then same with Crash 3. But again, very fun. The boss fights are fun. The different mechanics are really fun. It's been really cool too to see the progress that they made when playing. Like in Crash 1, you don't really have any abilities. You can jump and spin, and that's about it. In 2, you can slide, you can high jump, you can do a big belly flop. And then in 3, you unlock even more abilities, like being able to jump and spin, but like glide a little bit to get to some areas. It's just The Crash games are so amazing. I loved Crash Bandicoot 4. Absolutely love that game. So I hope that in the future we get some more Crash Bandicoot games because I love me some Crash, man.
I don't know if I've ever admitted this on the podcast, and if I did, I'm sorry for the constant listener. But the most I've ever played of Crash Bandicoot was in Uncharted 4, when you got to play a whole level.
Wow.
Because I think I've gone back and attempted to play the first game and got through the first level, so about the same amount of time that you spend while playing Uncharted. And I have never visited Crash 2, Crash 3, Crash 4. I've never played the racing games. While I know of Crash, I am so ignorant to what a Crash game is. Is it worth my time jumping into, you think, in 2025 to revisit these games?
It is so right up your alley, Uno.
Okay.
Seriously. They are still so fun to play, but all 3 games, seriously. And the Insane Trilogy is great. That's a perfect intro point. Yeah, I think you would absolutely love them. They're very, very fun 3D platformers. And I'm going to say something that maybe not a lot of people agree with. I prefer Crash Team Racing over Mario Kart.
Oh, okay. So that I should try that too. Then I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I love Mario Kart, but there's a feature in CTR where when you're sliding, you have to perfectly time these button presses. Like R1, I think you press to get like 1 boost, 2 boost, and then the 3rd boost you go even further. So, but you can like see the bar on the screen. It's just a really fun little feature where it's like this mini game that you're playing while you're racing that I really, really enjoy. That's in Crash Team Racing. So yeah, Crash Team Racing also worth your time, Uno. Really good.
I'm gonna have to add all of the Crash games to my list. My backlog, just on this one episode, my backlog has gone really big. And I did want to also go back. We did talk last week that I was gonna play Halo Reach because you played the game that I recommended, which was Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm on the road this week. I did download Reach on my laptop, but unfortunately my laptop, even for a game that I believe is 12 years old, maybe more than that now, it's still a very demanding game because it's gorgeous and my laptop is chugging along trying to play it. So I will be back. By the time this podcast drops, I'll be back home for a few days. I will finally have put time into Halo Reach on a proper computer, and I will bring in my opinions of it next week. I
can't wait to hear about it.
You know what? I'm excited too because I haven't played a Halo game since Infinite had originally come out. And so it will feel new again because I never played this game at all. I'm very excited to put more time into it.
Yeah, it's great.
That is it for the games we played this week. But that is not it for our podcast because, as always, a bunch of news has happened, and we're going to talk about it right after this. Welcome back. It is time to talk the news of the week. I don't know if you know this, but Nintendo actually dropped another Direct. Nintendo been dropping directs left and right. It seems like one every month. This one was focused on third-party releases on the Switch and the Switch 2 because some of the games were released on Switch 1, which I did find kind of interesting that having the Switch 2 out there does not kill the life cycle of the Switch 1. They made it very apparent in this that half of these games were capable of playing on both. Some were exclusive to 2, and some were just downright on 1, which means it would be emulated on the second one. Whereas some games had like features that could be better on 2, so on and so forth. It was very neat to see the messaging on it. It was very, very clean, but they showed a lot of stuff, and I would like to go through it, starting with the first game they showed, Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. This is a new Monster Hunter game. Look, I don't know much about Monster Hunter. I think both of us are in the same field here when it comes to Monster Hunter. But this is the spin-off series. It is a sequel to, obviously, Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2. It's kind of like a more cel-shaded look to Monster Hunter, less defined and graphically demanding than the previous ones. I can't tell you what that means story-wise because I've never played the games before. But from the video package that they showed, it did look very nice, and it will be coming out in 2026.
Yeah, every time I see footage of a Monster Hunter game, I'm like, for the love of God, Chugs, play a Monster Hunter game, because they do. They look so cool, and I love the cell shaded look. Very, very cool. Great way to start the direct.
They also showed a bunch of games that have come out previously, but will be making their debut on Switch 2, including Apex Legend is coming to Switch 2. That is the 3v3 Titanfall universe shooter that has been, I know, on all consoles before, and has a pretty big user base, but it is coming to Switch. That's coming out August 5th. So that's this week. If you're into Apex Legends, you have Switch 2. That'll be available. Also, Star Wars Outlaws. That is the Star Wars third-person action story game that dropped, I believe, last year? Maybe the year before?
I think it was last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will be you're getting a polished version of that on Switch 2 coming out on September 4th. As well, Persona 3 Reload. That is the Persona 3 remake that came out late last year as well. That is now finally coming to Switch 2 and will be coming out on October 23rd. There's also, they showed a bunch of remakes and a bunch of RPGs, including Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. It's getting a modernized version of the Final Fantasy Tactics game. That is coming out on both Switch and Switch 2 on September 30th, which honestly, I may have talked about this before, but I've never beat Final Fantasy Tactics because you could save at any point at that game, and I saved right before a boss where I couldn't exit the room, and I was just not strong enough to beat that boss. And because I was an idiot at the time and would only have one save file instead of like numerous saves, that's why they give you that option in Final Fantasy, by the way. I screwed myself out of like 20 hours of progress and I never got to finish it. And part of me really wants to go back because I really love Final Fantasy Tactics. I love tactic games.
I really want to as well. Like, because I know some people who have played like all of the Final Fantasy games, and some people say that Tactics is their favorite one ever. And I have such little experience with like tactics style RPGs, but I feel like Final Fantasy, it's a perfect jumping point. And also, again, the game just looks and sounds incredible from everyone who's played it.
Yeah, the modern version of it looks stunning. It didn't take away the sprite features. It's still sprite based, but you know, it's stretched out to 4K. They definitely did some music work as well. I think well worth the time.
And now fully voice acted.
Yes, as well. There was none at all in the past, so very exciting for that as well. We also got two more. These were unveiled towards the end, but I think I should mention them. But the Square Enix people dropped two trailers on this one. This one, first one, another one in their HD 2D brand. You might know their series Octopath Traveler. Well, a brand new one is coming out called Octopath Traveler 0. It will be out on Switch and Switch 2 on December 4th. It looks like more Octopath Traveler, which I think that art style is stunning. I really like. Beautiful. I love that 2D, 3D sprite work that they did. And if you also enjoy that, well, guess what? That's not the only game they have, because they have another game entirely that has that type of art style called, and this one made me laugh when they revealed it. I don't know why, but it's called The Adventures of Elliot, which they showed it pretty like a meaty RPG thing. It for whatever reason, it wasn't the naming I thought we would be getting, but it's an original adventure that stars obviously Elliot and a fairy friend that spans a story that spans over 1,000 years. So it's going to involve a lot of time jumping, and that comes out in 2026.
Uno, so I live streamed this Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, and the final two things they showed were The Adventures of Elliot and then Octopath Traveler 0. And when they showed The Adventures of Elliot, I remember saying, I'm like, oh my God, is this Octopath? Because it just looked so similar to Octopath. Yeah. And then instead, it's a brand new IP, which is really, really awesome. And then right after that, they showed Octopath 0. It was so funny.
It was cool. I will say,
it was awesome.
The third party being a big Square Enix coming out for two of their games was very, very cool. Because Square Enix has been doing very well in the last few years. Them and Capcom. I mean, I think Capcom gets the edge. Capcom in general might be the best publisher right now, I think, because they've had home runs after home run after home run. But Square Enix is doing incredible as well, and they've got 2 games on the docket ready to go very soon as well. On a bunch of that, there's a ton of other stuff. Chronos: The New Dawn. That is the new horror game by Bloober Team. That's the team that made Silent Hill 2 remake. Didn't know this was going to launch on Switch 2. Well, it is also launching on Switch 2 as well as everywhere else on September 5th, which incredible because that looks like a visually demanding game. And you kind of forget sometimes that the Switch 2 is a gorgeous device that can run those things. Pac-Man World Repack 2, that's an HD remake of Pac-Man World 2, which I've never played, is coming to Switch and Switch 2. And we're also getting an HD remake of, and this one was surprising to me, Plants vs. Zombies.
Yes.
Is getting it's called Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, which is PopCap Games. If you were playing indie games about 15 years ago, it was the game to play. It's a local co-op and PvP game, and it is a remastered version of the Plants and Zombies experience, and it launches October 23rd. Other stuff that they announced that I really wanted to talk about is they're making a new Katamari game.
Yes. Called
Once Upon A Katamari. It's got a brand new soundtrack from a bunch of different people that did the soundtracks of the previous games. It looks like more of the usual stuff, but this one, instead of being within a kitchen, within a living room, this one seems to be you are bouncing from different cities to cities. So you're exploring a planet, and you're essentially roaming the earth through different towns and different cities. So you're going to see different faunas, you're going to see different architecture, but in the end, it all goes into a ball. Like every Katamari game. And I'm actually very excited because I really like that series. It's a very fun time killer for me. It's something very low stakes, and I'm very excited because it's coming out very soon in October 24th.
Yeah, I definitely want to grab this one. It looks super fun.
And then other than that, they showed more of the Hyrule Warriors game that is meant to come out. No release date. It just said winter. But we got a new look at the Dynasty Warriors style brawler that features the Legend of Zelda characters. And it looks stunning. More of the same. I think I need to get into this series. I can't believe I didn't before, especially because I've loved the Zelda games. This looks so fun, and I'm very excited to get my hands on it later this year.
Me too, because I will say that the Hyrule Warriors games have always been interesting to me, but I've never played them. This looks like a must play.
Yes.
Like, between the fact that it's like a prequel to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is so cool. Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite Zelda story ever. I just love the story so much in that game. Like you said, Uno, the game looks gorgeous, and the combat looks so chaotic and fun in like the best way possible. So this for sure is going to be my jumping point to check out the Hyrule Warriors series. It looks awesome. Looks so good.
On that, they showed a bunch of little indie games. Well, one, I don't know if one's considered an indie game because it's an NBA 3v3 game that looks like chibi versions of characters. So you're not necessarily playing as, Michael Jordan, the chibi character. You're playing as the mascots from the Raptors or the mascots from any other team that I can't think of off the top of my head because I'm very bad at sports. But it looks interesting. They also showed Chilling by the Fire, which they dropped same day, which a very odd thing, but it is quite literally you sit by a fire, and you could also bring in your friends to sit by the fire with you on game chat, and you just make fires. You put logs in. If the logs are wet, you dry them. You split logs. As the flame starts going around, maybe you add paper to make it bigger. I don't know if it'll be fun to play, but it is a very interesting concept for a game for something that is so simple.
It looks very cozy.
Yes.
Very, very cozy.
Oh my God, yes. In fact, it's already out. If anyone's had an experience with it, let us know in the comments down below. youtube.com/awgames. I would love to hear about it. And then the last little bit I want to talk about this is they showed a little indie game called Hela that is about a tiny mouse. and it's an open world tiny mouse game, and they didn't really show a whole lot of like what the story is, but you're a tiny mouse, you've got a rope, you're dragging things around, you're running across plants, you have like a frog in your backpack. I really don't know what it is all about, but it's cute as hell, and it's coming out 2026. And I'm assuming if they're showing this so early, they probably believe in this game a lot, because this is not from a already known entity like Square Enix, and they gave this game a fair amount of time on the Nintendo Direct.
Uno, I will say this was top 3 games for me. Like,
me too.
The partner showcase, immediately I was like, oh wow, like the concept is very interesting. Also, there was a platformer game I played before called Unravel. I don't know if you played that before.
Yes, it looks a lot like it, actually.
It does. It very much reminds me. Only this one is full 3D, I guess. But yeah, it looks so charming. The areas look beautiful. It looks really, really fun, like puzzle solving style. But man, immediately I was like, oh, I gotta play this one. So yeah, Hela looks awesome.
So I have a list on my phone, on my notepads, of games that are coming up. And as I was watching it before they said the name of the game, I just wrote tiny mouse game, and I haven't corrected it on my phone, but I'm very excited for that game for sure. Much like you, amongst the things I'm the most excited from this Direct. Let us know what you're excited about. If you haven't seen it, it's available on YouTube right now. It's actually a pretty meaty one. It's almost 30 minutes of content, so do go check it out if it interests you. Other stuff we gotta talk about this week is I want to talk about this one story because this one makes me laugh. But Tencent, they're a Chinese publisher of video games, I guess recently are trying to unveil this game. I need to get the name of it because the reality of it is it's... Anyways, so they pitched a game to Sony about the Horizon Zero Dawn series, and Sony rejected it. So instead of going back to the drawing board, they just copied the entire series and planned to release it as Light of Motiram. The thing is, it is quite literally the same game. The aesthetics are the same. You are fighting giant mech animals as the same. And the worst part of all is the image they used to advertise this game is the cover of Horizon, but they just changed their character and their dinosaur animal thing for their version of it. It's exact same position. It's crazy that they went for this, and Sony's decided, well, we're bringing you to court, and they've sued them for it.
Yeah, which it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens there. But Uno, like I had seen, someone had posted some pictures because I had seen just photos of this before this article had come out, and it is sometimes stuff is similar, and you're like, no, hey, they could creatively go for something different this way. Like you had said, it is just one for one. Like the outfit that the protagonist is wearing, like you said, the mech dinosaurs, and specifically that opening screenshot. I really did think it was a Horizon game. I really, really did. So, I mean, it looks beautiful, but it looks exactly like Horizon.
The main character wears the same garb, has the same hair, same colored hair. The dinosaurs are exactly the same. The world looks exactly the same. There is nothing unique about it other than maybe the origins of their characters visually, and as well what the game minute to minute, the way it's played, is exactly the same. It's wild to think that they would try to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, do go check that out if you get the chance. Tencent and Sony, I'm sure we'll hear about it very soon, but there's no way either someone's going to settle quick, or I can't possibly see this go to court and Sony not win it.
Yeah. I would be shocked.
Me too. It would. It seems quasi impossible. And then our last bit of news for this one, and this was a short one, but we've seen The Last of Us stuff coming around. We talked about how Mass Effect is going to get the TV treatment as well. Well, it looks like we're not done with the TV treatment for video games, because that seems to be the hot new item nowadays, is to make a TV show about a hot video game entity. And the next one we're getting, and this seems so interesting in the times we are today, Wolfenstein is going to be the next video game series to get an adaptation for TV. I love the Wolfenstein games.
Me too. Me too. Man, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I love the aesthetic. The storytelling. I love the main characters. Yep. I'm very excited to see what a TV show like this is about.
Me too, because again, the Wolfenstein games do have like incredible stories that take place. So I feel like this is one of those games that would translate really well to a TV show or a movie. I'm very, very excited to see how this show ends up going, because the games are great. The games are great.
Yeah, and then this follows up, Fallout's going to get a second season. It's already been renewed for a third season. We know Last of Us has at least a third season in the can that they're going to be doing as well. Everyone is doing incredible numbers when it comes to video game content. And this seems like pretty much ready to go, because they already have executive producers, including people from Machine Games, who are the most recent people to have Wolfenstein alongside Bethesda, Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, who are people that you would see on the credits from Fallout, are also credited for making or for helming the project here. So I'm not surprised at all. And when explaining why Wolfenstein is a good idea, they said, the story of killing Nazis is evergreen. It works anytime. And you know what? They're not wrong. They're not wrong. And I'm genuinely excited to see where this goes, because I would love to see what a TV series of Wolfenstein is. I love the alternate history that video game exemplifies. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the alternate music that it also does, which I think is very, very unique. And I would love to see if that gets incorporated in the TV show.
Yeah.
Well, that is it for the news for this week. If you are interested in Wolfenstein, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think would be a great TV series? What video game series are we not thinking about it that could make it to TV? Let us know in our comments. youtube.com/awgames. We're not done for the show, because our favorite segment of the show, the Arcade Mailbag, comes to you right after this. And we're back. It is time for our favorite segment of the show, where you get to ask questions to the both of us. But before we do so, our segment today is brought to you by our friends at Upper Deck. It's time. It's time to collect your favorite wrestlers in 2025's Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autographs, memorabilia, and premium tech inserts. We got a pack today. Chugs, what did we open up out of this?
All right, so we got a 2025 pack here, and we're starting off strong.
Ooh, Copeland. Whoa, Justin,
yeah.
I love that suit. Mark Briscoe.
Oh, Mark Briscoe, beautiful.
The man. There's the Ops.
Nice.
We've got Chris Jericho.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's a great Sheeta card.
Oh, very cool Sheeta card.
It's got a foil around it.
Cool.
One of those Dazzler, another foil card. This one's Harley Cameron.
Yeah.
Ruby Soho.
Oh, nice. Ruby.
Hologram. Another Sheeta card. Double Sheeta card pack.
Oh, double Sheeta. Holy Sheeta.
And that is Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. For the short period of time they were a tag team. Right
nice.
back.
Good pack.
Good pack.
Good pack right there.
You can go get a pack of your own, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. As always, thank you to Upper Deck for sponsoring this segment. If you would like a question answered on our segment, you can. tbs.com/arcade mailbag. That's how you can send your questions to us. We always pick 3, including these 3. Let them rip.
Yes. So first up, we have a question from Bobby. Bobby says, "Hey, Chugs and Nuno, where do you draw the line with crossover skin skins in games. I'm all for fun collabs, but when you've got Beavis and Butthead or American Dad characters running around in Call of Duty, which is supposed to be a realistic tactical shooter, at what point does it start to ruin the game's core? Also, what are some of the best and worst crossover skins you've ever seen? Bobby, thank you very, very much for the question. And truth be told, Bobby, it never bothers me.
Yeah, me neither.
It never bugs me. I kind of like the super wacky and off the wall. I love like a good crossover in a video game, no matter how silly it may be. So I don't really have one that would bother me by any means. But I do have like my favorite for sure. The fact that you can run around Fortnite as Master Chief is like the coolest thing.
Yes.
I love it. I love it so much. So I love when they add stuff like that into their game. So for me, no, it does not bother me at all.
You know what? It doesn't bother me at all either. And there are things that I think there is other factors that do bother me. You know, sometimes like we're talking Call of Duty, implementing actual ads in maps and stuff like that kind of leaves me sour. But the idea of like, if I could play as Beavis against a military guy, I think that's hilarious. I'm all about it. Especially at the end, it's your money. If you want to spend it to do it, then in that case, that's what you do. Fortnite has so much of it that I feel I'm desensitized to the idea of collab skins. Some of my favorite are a lot of the Dragon Balls. I love, like, it's kind of unreal that a video game, you can be Batman and you can fight Spider-Man, and somehow that's okay. Those are two brands that did not want to work ever because they're competing on the same spectrum, being, you know, comic books. But in Fortnite, that's fine. It literally, and there's so many competing brands on there, but it's a hodgepodge of so many different brands that Fortnite by far is my favorite integration of all that stuff. And I don't even know if I could tell you my worst skin, because even the bad ones I think are kind of fun to see. You'll never see me buy a Sabrina Carpenter skin, but the fact someone likes it, someone's using it, I think, you know what? Kudos to them. I think it's sweet that you can be represented in your video games at any time.
Yeah, one of the many things that I love about video games is really like the possibilities are endless. Almost anything you could imagine could be in a video game. Like you said, like Spider-Man versus Batman. I love that video games give us that chance to see stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think the more chances and opportunities you have to do stuff like that is super, super fun. And then I also think it's great that if you don't want to be involved in that whatsoever, you don't have to. You don't have to. Mm-hmm. Totally up to you. So, Bobby, excellent question. Excellent question. That was very interesting to talk about. Next up, Eric. Eric says, good day, Sir Chugs and Sir Uno. Ooh. Good day, Sir Eric. If you could get a signed piece of memorabilia from anyone in the game industry, alive or dead, who would it be and what would you get signed? Whoa. Eric, that is such a good question. Uno, do you know?
Yes. I think, and maybe if I were given more time, I would be like, oh no, this is a bad choice. But my first one that came to my mind was I would get Gabe Newell, who is the lead on Valve, the lead from Steam, and I would get him to sign a Half-Life 2 box. Specifically the one that I currently own. I just think that that's an incredible thing to get. Still now to this day, one of the leading names in video games.
Easy.
And if not that, I think if I could somehow get like the original sprite of something or the original like map of a game I liked signed, I think that would be incredible as well.
Yeah, that's such a great choice. Such a great choice. A total side note, I just thought of this when you had said that with the sprites, but it's really cool that the Video Game History Foundation, which is now just for everyone to look at online, is collecting a lot of stuff like that. Like they were collecting from the original artist who did Toe Jam and Earl. They have like all those documents scanned and stuff awesome. on the website. It's just I love that exists. I think it's so cool. But my answer, what came to mind immediately is I would want a original copy of a cartridge of Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Bros on the NES, and I would want it signed by Shigeru Miyamoto. That would be my number one piece of memorabilia I could get. If I could get Miyamoto to sign a copy of the original Super Mario Bros., my goodness, that would be collection heaven.
Do you think that would take the shelf space of your current Road Rash that's on your wall?
Ooh, I'll never get rid of Road Rash.
You can make another shelf. Get another shelf.
Make another shelf. I'd make another shelf for sure. But yeah, so much cool stuff. Eric, thank you very much for the question. Great question.
I'd be curious to hear what other people say for themselves, because
yes, please
let us know in our comments as well. I would love to hear your opinions.
Because then going through and reading those comments and seeing your guys' different ideas and stuff, I'm going to get so excited and be like, oh, God, that's a great idea. So many different possibilities. And last but not least, last question is from Star Platinum. Star Platinum says, hey, guys, love the question last week about what if Sega won the console war against Nintendo. I've got a follow-up, if you don't mind. Don't mind at all. What if neither Sega or Nintendo came out as the leaders in the industry, but instead Atari dominated to this day instead? How different would the world look today? Star Platinum, amazing question. And that's a tough one.
Really tough.
It's really hard, because again, Atari, they were the kings in the second generation with the Atari 2600. They were working in the home computer market as well. I think the final console that Atari ended up releasing was the Atari Jaguar. So they did go into the third and fourth generations, but as far as gaming as we know it now, Atari was kind of out of the console business at that point. So it's really interesting. I mean, I think, God, you know what I'd be curious about? I'd be curious what the Atari controller would look like. If they were
my God, yes, because they didn't even have, I mean, they had two buttons and a joystick. They didn't even think about what a controller was in the future.
Right.
I didn't even consider that part.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. And then it's also fascinating too. The one thing that I do wish would have happened is hearing about the workplace when the Atari 2600 was at its hottest, and hearing about how relaxed and laid back the environment was, and how people would just come in and just throw these wild ideas at the wall, and just if they stuck, then they'd turn it into a game. I'd be so fascinated to see what types of games that they would have ended up making, especially with like modernized graphics now.
Yes.
I think that'd be really fascinating. But Atari is so instrumental in video games being successful to this day. If it wasn't for Pong and the Atari 2600, video games would have never taken off probably. They were the first. I mean, for the longest time, so many people thought that Pong was the first video game because it was the first popular video game. So yeah, I love Atari, but man, it's tough to, I mean, I guess we'd probably have a different mascot.
Oh yeah, I think Pac-Man would be at the front and center. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: I don't really know other Atari IPs that could do it other than him.
Yeah, other than him, I can't either.
I can't name a second Miss Pac-Man. That would be the other thing.
Miss Pac. They had Pitfall.
Oh, that's true.
Activision.
Those games are great, actually. Yeah.
Yep, that's a big one.
I wouldn't even know what their Rolodex of characters and games would be nowadays. And on the subject of the controller, like, would the joystick be dominant nowadays?
I think so.
A fight stick would be kind of the norm rather than the D-pad, I think, if Atari had kept going.
Yeah, because when we look at controllers, right, it was obviously the 2600 had the joystick, but then the joystick didn't even really make a huge comeback in the console world until Nintendo 64. Really
crazy.
And then PlayStation, obviously, with the DualShock controller too. But like, yeah, they kind of stepped away from the joystick for a little while. So yeah, that would be really interesting. Yeah,
I'd be very curious to see what Atari's, and I guess we'll never know. That's the crummy part of this, is that until Atari decides to make a console nowadays, we'll never know what their vision was going to be. But man, I love thinking about it.
I do too.
Yeah, it's these like alternate universe questions that people have asked us in the last few weeks have been incredible.
I know. Yeah, so good. I love imagining all these different circumstances or reminiscing about what ideas there could be. But I do appreciate too that more and more we're seeing like that Atari 50th anniversary game that released, where it's like a documentary and going through all these classic games. It's just, I talk about video game history all the time with you, Uno, and my friends, and I think about it a lot, but it really is absolutely wild how far games have come in a relatively very short amount of time.
Oh yeah, I mean, 70 years ago, this stuff didn't exist. Even less. I mean, at this point, 50 years ago is the start of it, essentially.
Yes,
crazy.
Yeah, if you want to consider, which I know most historians do, but if you want to consider Tennis for Two the starting point, which is in 1958, but video games didn't really take off until the early 70s with Pong. Like it was, so yeah, it really has not been that much time, 60 plus years maybe, but yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, I can't imagine what it's gonna be like in 10 more years. The leaps now have been ginormous from because if you look at game from a decade ago, you could see the age from a decade ago. And if you go a decade before that as well, they've barely figured out 3D. So who knows what another decade will do. Technology only advances quicker and quicker, and video games are at the forefront of it.
Yeah. And maybe 10 years from now, we're going to get Atari and Sega back in the console market.
Who knows? Let's hope.
Who knows?
Dreamcast 2, let's go.
Yes.
Thank you, Star Platinum.
Star Platinum. Yes, thank you.
Incredible question. If you want your questions answered, go to tbs.com/arcade mailbag and send your questions in. And you know what? If you got more alternate universe questions, send them in. We're having a grand old time answering those. I can't even think what you will come up with, but that's why you're answering, or you're asking and we're answering. And we appreciate you all for sending those questions. And we also appreciate you all for listening every single Monday. Please hit that follow button or that subscription button. You can listen to us every single Monday morning on your podcast networks, but you can also watch us on youtube.com/awgames, noon Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. That is where the video format of this show drops, youtube.com/AEWgames. Make sure you hit that subscription button. Chugs, you'll be probably back on Twitch sometime this week.
Yes, that is the game plan. Very, very happy to be back on Twitch at twitch.tv/thechugs. We are getting towards the end, I believe, of the Liza P. Overture DLC, so I'm going to continue playing through that. And if I do end up finishing it this week, I have decided that I am going to do a full playthrough of Expedition 33 on stream. So I've only played a little bit of the game on my own. I have barely experienced this game, and I can already tell it's going to be so special. So yeah, this week, twitch.tv/thechugs, some Liza P. Overture, and maybe the start of Expedition 33.
Yeah, do go check that out, because Chugs has been holding off from playing this game for a while. He's itching to play it, so go check it out. That game is incredible. I'm very excited to watch you. On my side on Twitch, I will not be playing video games this week. I'm still traveling so much. I have the world's busiest life right now, but
yes, you do.
Part of that busy life is an even busier thing. August 11th, that'll be the Monday following this one. An episode will drop of our podcast in the morning. Well, if you go to twitch.tv/eviluno that day, I will be doing a 24-hour live stream where I am raising funds for the Canadian Cancer Society. I've been doing this now for 13 plus years. I've raised myself, alongside fighting back, wrestling with cancer, have raised over $700,000 for cancer research, and we're doing it for 24 hours straight this time, and we're going to do the world's longest match. I have hired a bunch of wrestlers to wrestle for 24 hours. They're gonna hate it, and you're gonna get to watch it with me. Come join us August 11th, twitch.tv/eviluno, and we're doing it for a good cause. So if you got any money that you'd like to donate, let's squash cancer together. Do check it out, twitch.tv/eviluno, August 11th. Thank you so much. As well, we'll probably have an episode that drops that morning. So do hit that subscription button and that follow, because we love that you have supported us this far. We're already a year into this thing, and honestly, it's the brightest part of my week most of the time.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy talking video games with my good friend Chugs, but also with all of you as well. I just did a convention today, and by far of the hundreds of people I met today, most of it was asking me about AW games and about the video games I've been playing. So we know you're out there, we hear you, and we appreciate you so much for supporting us, because we love doing this as well. So we will see you next week. Way more video games to talk about, all right here on the All Elite Arcade Podcast. Have a good day, and bye-bye.